Hello there and welcome to the Bicycle Diaries. So here we are back in France, day 3 and our final ride.
Today we are going to have a ride to Gorge de Mondony, which is the gorge above our local town, Amélie-les-Bains, the spa town referred to in the earlier video. And the ride will climb about 430 metres. We'll go past a very large waterfall. We will stick to the right hand side of this really deep, really beautiful gorge with 2 rivers meeting in the middle. Leonard suggested he wanted to do a shorter ride today with a view to getting some more footage and taking it a bit easier after yesterday for both of us. So very much looking forward to it, and you'll see some spectacular views today.
Well, here we are in a little golf trolley taking us down to the driveway. And what's the thinking behind this, Chris?
Well, we've got a 1 kilometre driveway, a gravel driveway from our house. If it weren't just you and I, we would be a group of between 5 and 8. We would be in the bike trailer with the support vehicle going out for the day. But as it's just you and I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and show you the golf buggy and get you out in the wild.
Brilliant. That's the first of today's climbs, and it was about 2.5 kilometres with an average gradient of about 6%. Certainly warmed us up, and now we're up here we can have a fantastic view of the gorge and the village of Amélie-les-Bains. It appears that Chris is far braver than I am. Now, as you all know, I'm double hard, but Chris is from Yorkshire. Behind me we have a stunning view of the Pic de Canigou, which is the sacred mountain of the Catalan people. Now, I was always under the impression that Catalonia was basically northern Spain, but on this trip I've also discovered that it extends up to this part of southern France. Now, if you don't already know, Catalonia is a part of Spain and France where they have their own language and their own identity, which they're fiercely proud of. Back on the climb again, and we've been climbing for about another kilometre or so, but luckily for us the gradients level out to about 5%, and I'm finding it relatively easy I suppose the beauty as well of doing these longer climbs is that when I get back to Hampshire and the climbs are only a kilometre, 1500 metres or so, they seem like a piece of cake. Very pleasant surprise. This is the Mascarat Waterfall. It's not got a lot of water in it at the moment, and apparently when it's in full flow it goes right over the road here, so where I'm standing now I'd actually be getting wet, and when it's dry the locals abseil down there, so again they're a lot braver than I am. Across the gorge there is the tiny little village of Mont-Albin, which has been around since the year 1020, and even today it only has a population of 37 people, but it does have 2 churches. Well, I have to say this is an absolutely incredible view from up here, but now we're just making our way back down the Gorge de Mondony to the town of Amélie-les-Bains and then back to the house. Chris and I have just arrived in the town of Amélie-les-Bains at the bottom of the gorge, and one of the things that struck me while I was up there was just the complete lack of cars. Okay, the road only goes up to a little village, but basically we saw 2 cars the entire time we were up there, and one of those was the postman. We've just had some very nice refreshments in Amélie-les-Bains, and now we're just climbing back up the road, the 5 or 6 kilometres or so, back to the house, and that will be the end of today's ride and indeed this trip. Just taken a quick detour into the very centre of the historic village of Arles-sur-Tech, and we're just in the convent courtyard, and then behind me is the Abbey Saint-Marie. Today's ride done and dusted, only 30 kilometres on the clock, but there was a fair bit of climbing involved, about 500 metres of climbing, so we obviously rode up to the little village there in the gorge, came back down, and then it was quite a climb from Amélie-les-Bains back to the house here. And also that's the end of my 3 days of cycling here in the Pyrenees, and what a fantastic 3 days it's been. So a big thank you to Chris and Vicky, and yeah, hopefully I'll be back again sometime soon.